Welcome to Neutral Voices. I am Dr. V, and this is In Depth, where we dig deep in the trenches of what matters. And we in the trenches tonight.
Yes, we are.
And listen, and it matters because we're talking about the wonderful, the amazing President 46, Lil Joey. No, President Biden. And I do know. I mean, what do y'all call him? Because everybody has these different names.
You don't want to know what I call him.
Don't want to
Yeah,
know.
Clarence, what do you call him?
I just call him.
We can't even answer.
I was going to say, I've noticed that a lot of people don't even say President Biden.
Right.
Have you noticed they just say Biden?
They say
Lack of
Biden.
respect, Biden.
Yeah.
Right.
Same with Trump. I just call
You
him
just
Trump.
called him Trump?
Yes.
Okay. Well, tonight we want to talk about President Joe Biden. And what we want to talk about, not his first 100 days. We want to talk about his first, 8 months, 333 there. And
Yes.
so we want to talk about that, but we have certain topics we want to speak on. We want to speak about, think about how he handled COVID. That's one thing. How he handled, well, we already know everybody has their thoughts about Afghanistan and the way that happened and the way he pulled them out. We want to talk about the Asian hate bill. What other things we want to cover?
We're going to cover the budget and the vice president, Miss Kamala.
Kamala.
Wait a minute.
Kamala.
Who is it?
Kamala Harris. Isn't it Kamala? Is
We have
it?
a vice president.
I was going to say, who is it?
Yeah. Well, that's why we're
Is
going to talk
she-
about it. That's why we're going to talk about it
Okay,
right
is
there.
she missing?
We're going to talk about that right there.
MIA.
Oh, man.
We're
I'll
going to
tell
talk about that right
You
there.
know, we were so excited about her being chosen.
We?
We were excited. We, the ladies.
You speaking French?
We.
Oh, the ladies.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were so excited, but it seems like she has really taken a back seat. But we're going to talk about that a little bit more. So meanwhile,
Right.
I just want, everybody, and you can chime in. And don't forget to click like and share. And I just want to say thank you and give it up for our Envy family for hanging in there with us.
Yes.
And
Thank you
meanwhile,
so very
yes.
much.
So meanwhile, don't forget to comment with us and then follow us and check us out tomorrow night as we actually do the
We're
grading
going to give them a grade.
on these particular subjects.
Yeah, we're going to put our heads together and come up with a good grade for them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some people more excited than others.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to be the voice of the people.
He's shining tonight. He's so excited.
Oh, yeah, he's shining. We were
Yeah,
thinking about
yeah.
that, red, white, and blue, but
I didn't get the memo.
Jill was
So-
but Jill, it's okay. You pro-black tonight. We're gonna watch it all go down.
Right.
So anyway, so just think of this right now. Think about who was there before Biden, before y'all start beating him up too bad.
Right.
Okay.
I
I
got
want
you.
you to think about how he left the house, how Trump left things
I got you.
in the state of the world or the state of America and what was going on when Biden came into
I got you.
office.
I
Okay.
got you.
So, and I just say that because sometimes we need to kind of reflect back to where we were when we were governed by somebody else.
Got you.
All right.
Got you.
So with that in mind, and because we're going to kind of keep it a little bit more surface tonight and go a little deeper tomorrow night, how do you feel he handled COVID?
COVID. Jill, you can go first.
Well, first of all, I just want to back up just a tiny bit because a lot of people do say, this is Trump, Trump's fault or the past president, even when Obama, everybody's quick to blame. So I just did a little bit of research. And does anybody know how long Donald Trump was actually in politics, total period? Just
2 years.
okay. Do you know how long President Biden has been in politics?
47.
51. So to me, it's very hard to take somebody who's been in politics for 51 years. Nancy Pelosi, 33 years. Maxine Waters, 47 years. Trump, out of all of these, has been in politics the very least. So it's really hard to pin things on him because COVID, like we just...
I disagree with that.
Go-
That's a great reason to
But-
pin stuff
No,
on him
yeah.
because he
But-
got in a job that was way over his head
But-
and he didn't know. Great
Uh-oh,
reason to pin
that
a
kind
lot
of
of stuff
set
on
that
him.
up, Jill.
I have a
That-
question.
No.
What
That's
about
the
the fact
slippery
that
slope.
he's a businessman? And as a businessman, isn't that what our government is all about? Is
You
where
absolutely
the
right.
money goes
But he
and
was
how
on a-
people flip flop. I mean, even our
Yes.
politicians, we believe them based on their agenda when they're, behind the scene and
Right,
running for
right,
office, and we we gear toward them, and then when they get into office, it becomes money.
Right.
Who can
You're right.
pay more for
Yes.
what? So
You're
they
right.
flip-flop.
That's
So
right.
it doesn't matter if you've been in office 2 years or 51 years. It's who has the biggest pockets and where can I go?
But I would expect a
The real
doctor with
politics.
51 years on the job to have a lot better insight as far as decision making than our current president of the United
I
States
agree.
has.
With that same statement, would you let a doctor that's just been out of medical school 2 years do open heart surgery?
Absolutely not.
Okay, that's what I'm
Absolutely
saying.
not.
He didn't know the job.
So that's
But-
what I'm saying. I mean, we kind of and we the people chose somebody straight out of a reality TV show
we?
to come in and well the majority
Y'all
or he
speaking French again?
he wouldn't be there.
Y'all
So I mean
speaking
I'm
we?
just saying we have to look at the hundreds of years of combined experience and we still haven't made the changes.
So you saying with all these years of experience, somebody was stupid enough to allow the doors to swing open and Trump to jump through them?
Well, I mean, why do we have all these old white men making decisions for our country? I guess that's what
I
I'm
agree
getting
with you
at.
on that.
If
I
have
agree with
been
you on that.
in politics for 51 years
Mm.
and you pulled what you pulled with COVID and in Afghanistan,
Mhm.
there's something wrong.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are.
Yeah. I give you that. But Miss Mildred, you want to say something?
But wait. Oh, wait. I just want to be clear. When Jill said when you pulled what you did with COVID, are you referring to Trump or
Both of them.
Okay,
Both of
because
them.
I was just getting ready to say, when I'm thinking about COVID, one of the things that I don't like, and I feel like it kind of snowballed into the Asian hate bill, and we'll get into that, was with Trump referring to COVID as the Kung flu, and he
Yes.
started making all these cracks and
Right.
jokes
Didn't
and
take it
blaming.
serious.
Yeah, and so I believe that spiraled into a lot of the crimes that happened with the Asian. And so we'll get into the Asian
in the
hate bill
Asian.
in a little bit. But
So
yes.
it was okay for Trump to talk about a certain group, but everybody's hating on Dave Chappelle. I'm just saying. There's,
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean,
I know.
Yeah,
why
we
is
talked
it
about
okay
that
for
a little
one
bit.
and not
We
for
talked
the
about
other?
that.
Exactly,
Yeah.
You know.
exactly. And so so just so we don't leave COVID too
Yeah.
soon.
I got you on COVID.
Okay.
I got you on COVID. Now, COVID's been a mess since it started. I mean, since it started. Nobody has handled COVID in a proper manner.
Mm-hmm.
As much as Trump discredited, said it was a political ploy, the Democrats was putting something out to discredit him and all of this. So as much as him ignoring it, and where we are today. Now, where we are today is, I think, due to this mishandlement, nobody has handled it correct. Nobody. I can't give anybody credit for doing right, not even Joe Biden. Because here's the reason I can't give him this vaccine. That's been his main focus, this vaccine. There's not been any 100% proof that the vaccine saves lives because there's people that has died since they got the vaccine. There's no proof that that it's this cure-all or whatever they're trying, but he still that's been his main focus. There should be some other thought or practice that, all right, let's do something. And I want to touch on something where you both talked about the past administration. We can't blame a lot. We can blame a lot on the past administration, but we can't live there. I played football. I don't know if anybody ever played sports. And then you have a coach come in the next year. They bring their whole new playbook in. They have their whole new program. You got to learn their program that season. It's not, well, we're going to do what we did last year. No. You're going to learn that program this season. So it's the season. He should have had his playbook. Boom, let's do it like this. Let's move. So, no, he did not handle it correctly.
So we're clear we can follow and give a good grade. When you say he should have had his playbook, are you saying Donald Trump should have had his playbooks left behind, opened up, and
Joe
Biden
should have
have
came with a
been
whole
able
new,
to read it and understand where he
came
left
with
off?
a whole new thought, a whole new process, because what was happening wasn't working. He should have had his own playbook. Boom, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to move like this. Boom.
But at one point, didn't we hear it was some things that Trump was still hiding or keeping from the incoming, I'm going to say, cabinet for a long time? He was holding these things that would normally have been given out.
Now, yes, that's a true fact because he didn't have that changeover meeting.
The letter.
That's what I'm
letter.
saying. So there was
Or
some
that-
things
the
he was holding
briefing,
back.
yes.
and was
brief
sitting-
letter.
So that is true. So that could have been a hindrance, but I still say, even if you didn't get it, because the last coach ain't going to leave you his whole playbook. He going to take his playbook.
Okay, so but in his defense, so not sure who and how I'm grading him at this point, But, I'm just thinking, if I'm coming into this major position and I'm getting ready to take over, if the normal protocol is for me to have these notes to be able to see, think about a doctor treating a patient.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking over this patient. I need to see what has taken place over the last years.
Yes.
Or last 6 months,
Right.
etc. What have you added to this book? I need to look at these documents. So if you telling me as a president, wait, watch this, as a shrewd, intelligent businessman, Mr. Trump, that's the way you're gonna do business. You're gonna hold this, and you're thinking of the American people. I beg to differ. So all I'm saying is, a good guy, a smart, intelligent businessman that was concerned about America should have said, you know what, I lost. Here's the book. This is the way it went down the last 6 months under my watch. You see what you can do with it. So not protecting Biden, but I'm saying when you come into the building and it's already shifty, you're making my job hard.
That's a valid
point. What about sabotage?
Well, and I think too, the way I look at it, when and we'll go in this tomorrow, as far as how I grade it, is his approach to everything. The almost dictator-like approach. I mean, he said it weeks ago when he said, I told you to get the shot. I was being nice. So basically now, this is what you get. I mean, I think he is just, with COVID, I don't know if he just doesn't have all the answers, which none of us do, but it's his whole approach.
I think that is one factor. That was one thing, and then we're going to try to move past COVID because we don't want to stay there. But I think that was one thing that he said, and if we remember, that just happened. But there's been so many months prior to this, obviously, that he has been president. Let's just say there's been 333 days, 300 and maybe 25 days before he made this statement, whatever it was. So I'm saying, so outside of that, how would you look at the way things have been going? I think he's been patient. I think he has walked up with a clear focus. I think he really believed what he said when he was thinking that most people was going to jump on that vaccine because they were waiting for it. People were pushing for it. And I think he really thought that was going to happen. People were going to get the vaccine and America was going to be great again. Okay, I'm sorry.
Sunshine and roses, huh, Doc B? That's all you see.
I'm saying I think he really believed that. And then what happened, watch this. Whose fault is it that the GOP leaders and all these other people on social media start scaring people? So I'm going to tell you the truth. Some of all the things that were hitting the news in social media, I know Facebook, people were sending me different videos about don't get the vaccine because this is going to happen. And so even some of the leaders that were standing up speaking against the mask and the vaccines, and there was so much confusion. So being in his position, I could imagine him saying, listen, we just need to all get the vaccine. We need our teachers to get the vaccine so that our students can get to school and we can keep them safe. I can imagine him and imagine me being president saying, how can I fix this? How can I solve this? And so at some point you can get frustrated because even though he may be a calm person, I believe you can get to that point where you're saying, listen, y'all get this and I didn't like that either, but I'm still going back to the man he was with the calmness at the beginning and through the process.
I think he mistaken the position he was in, and there's a lot of puppeteers in it, and a president doesn't know. Even in the business world, there's positions and layers. So I think there's more to it than just him changing his views on the subject. I think there's money involved, and I think that there's people handling the strings, and he feels like he's in a rock in a hard place where he's trying to do the right thing, but at the same time, again, politics, money, career, what's going to happen next. And with Trump, I think he was just trying to sabotage for what's going to happen in the next 4 years.
Right. Yes.
Felony points. We'll
okay,
grade
so
this tomorrow. We'll
yes,
get
we
into
will.
it. Yeah.
And so that's COVID for right now, and so we can talk a little bit more about that. This is Neutral Voices. Just reminding you, don't forget to go to our YouTube page and subscribe. Continue watching with us. Thank you for being with us tonight. And so one of the other things I want to talk about is the stimulus package. You know, that really got a lot of people going, and people that maybe didn't like old boy, they started liking him because they were getting checks.
I ain't get them.
And so
Can I get one?
I think I got one out of all of them that came. I think I got one.
I know. Cause I was gonna say because that's when you went shopping. You went on your shopping.
No.
You got your new shirt.
No, right.
He's wearing his whole stimulus.
No, I think
but that's what some people did, and so they went shopping. They were excited about that stimulus check. So let's talk about that a little bit. Did that hurt us, or
absolutely hurt us?
It continues to hurt us.
It absolutely, as a single parent, you know, part-time work, that is something that, to me personally, it feels like it's enabling our community to not do better, not to be better, and to just, it's a handout. And for me, I don't want a handout. I need a hand up, but I don't need a handout, you know, because now you're thinking about Social Security and those people hitting retirement or disability. And now those checks are on hold because all this money is gone now because of these stimulus checks. And now the cost of living for Social Security has gone up 5% for next year. Yeah. So where's that money going to come from?
Well,
we're paying it back.
Yeah, it was a clutch. I mean, if you throw money at people, you know, it's going to keep them quiet. And it's a clutch that keeps coming. I mean, the stimulus wasn't a one-time thing.
Right.
Even with the stimulus, you still have record amount of evictions right now. You still have record amounts of people that, I mean, if you drive around at 9:30 at night, there's not a fast food light that is on it. And that is almost creepy because you just do not see that. So, I mean, the stimulus, I think,
a Band-Aid,
was a,
that came off real quick.
Because people didn't pay their rent with that money.
That's
you know,
right.
like Clarence said, they were at the mall, they were doing this, and had no food in their cupboard the next week.
Absolutely.
And a lot of the stimulus, people don't realize it's for the next year when they file their taxes. That's upfront money. Yeah. You know, so a lot of times lower income families who receive this lump sum during tax season, this $5,000, $6,000, $8,000
they won't get it next year.
They're not going to get that money.
But that's
they've already vacation or a new car or to uproot their family to a better side of the city. Well, you're not getting that money because you just got it the year before. And they don't know.
Because it's not advertised. Like, they don't tell you that. You know, same thing with the PPP. People are in trouble all over the place. So this money that came was almost just like, here you go, with nothing. No
consequences of what was to happen and what other programs were going to be affected by this early. It's like giving somebody a paycheck before they've earned their work.
And you know what? You mentioned the PPP. You know, one of the things that I don't like is because if you apply for this loan, let's just say you were a legitimate business and you apply for this loan. Well, you did the best you could. Let's just say you did the best you could with your paperwork. And so you're reliant on the people at the top, the bankers, whoever, with the fine tooth, like they always do, especially us. Yeah. You're expecting them to go through with a fine tooth comb looking for everything that isn't right. That's going to make sure you don't qualify. Right. If you don't qualify. Yeah. Well, they didn't do this. And so I don't think it's fair. Watch this. If you don't lock the people up that was at the White House on January 6th, I don't think anybody should be going to jail that got a PPP loan.
I disagree.
Penalize I said penalize them, make them pay it back, but going to jail and doing jail time, no, not if you're not letting them. That was treason as far as I'm concerned.
Who issued the loans, though?
I agree wholly
with that statement.
I agree wholly with that. But I think they should be punished because they made me give all that paperwork, and then they're going to say, we're sorry. You don't qualify. Then they were just throwing it out. Here. You get a loan.
Well, I'm just saying. So, I mean, that's just my personal.
But there was a certain amount of people that knew about the loans before the rest of our community. So if you look at...
Yeah.
Clarence, you were doing a silk shirt business out of your bag.
But no, here's my thing about the whole stimulus, and you got to look at the budget, and Ms. Mildred hit on it. How out of nowhere did you pull all this money out that you were able to? Now, the only thing with the stimulus I agree with was the unemployment, extra unemployment, because people were losing jobs at GM and places like that, where it would have put their family in a strait. But then when you're giving these people that weren't looking for a job, that don't care about a job, but you were giving them, why should I go find a job?
And that's
I'm
exactly
good.
right.
Yeah, that's right.
And now you're looking at, you're saying that the budget is crunched. Well, you should have known that 7 months ago when you were just throwing money away. Now, the only part of the stimulus I agree with is the extra unemployment. I'm really good with that. But
didn't that hurt a lot of businesses because people wouldn't go to work?
No,
so
that extra unemployment didn't. It's the extra money. This child tax credit.
It's all the bailouts.
All of those
keep on coming.
they kept getting those stimulus because they gave her like 4.
But come on now, Clarence. You know when people were getting those unemployment checks, they weren't trying to go find a job.
But most of those people lost the job.
Right.
But I'm saying, there were a lot of other jobs available. But people were saying, why would I go to work when I can make this much
and
money?
It wasn't
just
that. It was
home?
Why would I go make $15 an hour when I was making $25 an hour?
Right.
I understand that. But all I'm saying is we all knew and understood we were in the midst of a pandemic. Right. So it is what it is. So if my job was gone, that was what it was. But I'm saying there were other jobs out there. So that's how come our restaurants and other businesses were in trouble and had to close down, because as long as that unemployment money was bigger than those
are the
checks.
people that wasn't going to work anyway. That is not at Hardee's that closed down the street. That's not at these restaurants. Those are some of the people that weren't going to work anyway because they got this free money. I mean, seriously, they don't have a reason to work.
But that's what I'm saying. And then look how long it just kept going. It kept going. Okay, so yes, I understand the ones that lost their job for real. But they should have had more stipulations.
Yeah, I agree.
And so I'm saying they didn't. It seemed like it was just wide open.
There was stipulations to those loans that required the employer to keep employees for past the duration of those loans. And there's employers that fired as soon as the first payment was made.
That's right.
And I applied for the PPP loan, got it for the employer, and then was let go before the time, because there was a time frame that you were not allowed.
It's for 6 months.
Yeah,
6 months.
To do anything to any of the employees. That was that was what the loan was for, to secure the employees you already had and for the operation of your business.
Right.
To keep it going during a pandemic.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, so one of the other things that we're going to be grading President Joe Biden on tomorrow, the Asian hate bill. Now, how do you? I already know. So Clarence, don't you jump out of that seat.
No.
I'm just saying. So you stay calm.
Okay.
But how do you feel about that? And how do you see things rolling out from that? I mean, did it help? I mean, did the crime stop? I mean, talk about that.
It helped who it was supposed to help. Yes. But why are kids in Colorado right now, black kids in Colorado, they're fighting because they're still being bullied by their white classmates, black kids. So, did the bill need to be there? Probably, yes. But
okay, wait, before you go too fast and too far, did the bill need to be there? You said yes.
Yes.
Why? Why did it? Because some people that,
at the time,
I'm just saying, some people that don't know. Yes. So why?
At the time, I know it was in New York, LA, and somewhere else that there were Asian people, because you mentioned it at the outset that President Trump was, saying that the Asians, is it Wuhan? Is that where it's in Asia? They said Wuhan.
That's right.
That plant and all these Asian people coming from there were bringing a virus over here. He called it the Kung flu. Right. He gave it all kind of derogatory names against Asian. So that made Asian people be targets.
Targets by who?
By black people. Honestly, that's why this bill. Look it up.
Yeah, because we talked about it. We did.
Bill,
I'm not questioning. I'm saying it should be there, but they're protecting them from black people. That's the basis of the bill.
Because I want to make sure you you say that and you're solid on that.
I'm solid
and
on
that you make everybody understand that
Yes.
because everybody is not aware of
Yes.
that. Listen, that the black people were targeting the Asian people.
Yes. Yes. And that's
I
why
just wanted to put that out there because I was in shock.
Yeah.
I mean, I seen it
Yeah,
and I was
yeah.
devastated.
So they were protecting them from the black people. But here's the thing.
Who's protecting us?
Right. You say it, Miss Mildred. Don't whisper.
I'm sorry. Who's protecting us?
I know.
There's no bill. There's no hate crime or hate law against Hispanics or blacks.
But
so
there
why
is on the desk.
It's hello.
on the desk.
I know, but
it's probably in some.
I'm going to say it's just that it got a lot of stuff on top of it.
I mean,
right?
come on.
I know, and so I just want to say that. Okay,
Why
so
didn't he just say racial hate bill?
okay,
period.
That would have been solid. So I'm not gonna give the grade tonight. We're gonna wait, but that's one of the things that really disturbed me because it could have been all encompassing, just like you just said, but it wasn't. Now, the question is, why was it approved so fast? Why did they move so fast? Okay, I get it. Over 3,000, I forget, Asians were killed within a very short period of time. During the pandemic, they were not killed, insulted in some type of way, right? So to me, this is my personal opinion. I believe that it was passed so fast.
Because we was doing
because we were the ones. Yes. In I mean, at the basically committing the crime.
Now, before we move on, and if you look at it, they're gonna say, I believe it was in Atlanta. Was it Atlanta, that spot killing? That's what they're gonna say. It was what pushed it.
Yes.
But that bill was already in process and ready to go before the.
So you believe that just tipped it over in there?
The only thing that tipped it over is he made an executive order instead of letting it go through Congress. That was the only thing that the Atlanta spot thing did.
But I just have, something that I would like to bring up in reference to that. So if you are a president and you're coming in, to get the black votes, you're going to talk about all these things that you're going to do for Black America. Wouldn't that be the very first thing that you would come straight out the gate to do for Black America? I mean,
unless Donald Trump took that.
Put it in the shredder.
He put it in his briefcase.
But I mean, come on. I mean, that's what presidents do. They talk a lot in order to get the black vote. And then they get in office, and the very first thing they could do, they don't.
Yes.
That says a lot about your president and what he's truly trying to do for Black America.
Yeah, that wasn't a smart move.
I mean, it doesn't start just with the president. I mean, you have to think about all the politicians before you get to the presidency. Who do we elect as the precinct?
Can you hold that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because when we finish this, I want to have the discussion. I want to have the discussion before we leave here.
Okay, I was going to say, because I want her to finish that.
Yeah, just hold that point. Don't forget it. Just write that down because I want to let's get through this, and then that's a very valid point. So let's finish this.
Okay, all right. You want to finish the hate bill, or you saying finish the next?
All
right, okay. So the other thing that we're going to be grading President Joe Biden on is the whole Afghanistan withdrawal in that process. So, what do you think?
That, I believe, it was past due. It just fell in his lap.
A war of 20 years? Are
25,
you saying?
20, it was past
whatever
due.
It was?
It just fell in his lap. So he had to do something. Those one of those things I don't totally hold against him because somebody had to do something.
Okay.
It was being a waste of money, a waste of time, a waste of lives. Somebody had to do something. Okay. I don't wholly hold it against him. I'm not giving him I'm not saying what grade I'm giving him yet. But
hold
what I'm
it
saying,
for tomorrow.
I don't wholly hold that against him. Somebody had to do something. It was about time somebody moved on that.
I'm going to have to agree because I don't really think that even the people that object to how he handled it, I don't think it was about the withdrawal because that needed to happen. I believe it was about the approach and the messiness of the withdrawal to make it be such a low approval rate of what people think about it. But I mean, anybody with any kind of knowledge knows that it was time to pull out. Do I feel like we pulled out correctly?
No.
No? And I don't...
I can't on that one, but they left
Miss Mildred started that. I just
wait a minute. I will say that elect herself. But I will say that they did leave the equipment there.
Yes.
What, billions of dollars worth of war equipment.
Right.
To who? The Taliban.
Yeah.
It was like
I'm
he
just
was
saying.
at McDonald's at the drive-thru, and then he was like, "Yeah, hold on a second, go ahead and just get him out of there." I mean, I think it was just a
it
poor
could have been.
approach.
Now,
It could have been
the
done
one
better.
thing, the one thing that I am gonna say that is not being handled correctly is now. I talked to somebody with military, and he was in Afghanistan, and he said the people that helped them, they were in danger, so you had to bring them refugees. I understand. Get those people, but if their lives are in danger, if they, if they're gonna be harmed, yeah, get them out of there.
Mm-hmm.
But you're bringing them here, giving them all kinds of stuff, and there's still people, the veterans that was fighting in Afghanistan,
Right.
they can't
Right.
get half
Right.
the stuff
Exactly.
these people are
Right.
getting. So that's a. We'll talk about grade tomorrow, but I have
Right,
a
and I was
problem
gonna
with
say, yeah.
That's-
so especially
that's-
when it was 13 service members that died
Man,
from the way that happened.
that's what really hurts. Having military in our family is the military men that sacrifice their lives, in all these different wars to come home and not get adequate health insurance,
that. Right.
dental, vision, the simple things that we take for granted, but yet you're allowing people from other countries to come in and use our resources, and we're not taking care of those who left their husbands, their children,
Right.
We're driving
They're-
by him on the streets,
you know-
laying behind a bridge.
and we're not helping them. That bothers me. That doesn't sit well with me.
No,
That's right.
you were the same one.
Yeah, I agree with that. And just because we do have tomorrow night, so we can talk about a few other things before we actually get to the final grade. Now, we came on talking about the vice president that seems to be missing in action. Let's just talk about.
When was
Is-
the last time
she-
you seen her?
I
mean, legitimately.
When
was the last time
you seen her?
you actively seen her? So, I mean, when was the last time she stood for something? She gave a policy, or she. When was the last time you seen?
You
her
know what I
actively?
heard? I heard somebody say you saw and heard from Michelle Obama
More.
a lot more than you have heard from this new vice president.
Right. A lot of people don't even know her name.
What
I mean-
what is it?
I
Is
mean,
it Harris or Harrison? No, I'm just kidding. I
did
know,
see a
girl.
video actually.
Harris.
Candace Owens had posted a video where our vice president was meeting with some children, and it was a very just a bizarre video. It's almost like she's never even interacted with people or children. I think
was
we had that
odd.
posted up on our page if you want to check that out. But as far as like seeing her out and about, it's almost like a secret where she's even at right now.
Yeah.
I think.
That's really strange.
It's like a bad commercial.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really a bad commercial.
Yeah, it was very awkward.
And she's done other things that are personal. They've seen her in other places where it's lucrative. It's where she can make the money. And that saddens me because as a woman of color, we pushed
yes.
to see someone like us. Than to have her just look apart. It's like being an actress and she doesn't want the part.
Right.
Yes.
She
Right.
Oh, she
now
did.
that she's
That's
in
a
it for
great
333
analogy. Oh, wow.
days,
That's a
That's
great.
right.
she's like, you know what?
I'm good.
Can I get my
check, please.
Yeah,
just
seriously.
substitute person to come in and take over?
Yeah, she was
That-
pushed and celebrated, so that's almost embarrassing.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Well, I don't know about y'all, but I know there's so much more we can talk
Wait,
about.
Can-
as
can
far
we-
as
can we-
this-
Oh, you better let them
No,
finish their.
I was just gonna say, but I just wanted to remind our viewers, this is Neutral Voices. Thank you for hanging with us, and we have a little bit more we want to talk about.
Because Jill not going to do her spiel, so
No.
me and Miss Mildred going to have a discussion. Go
Okay.
ahead, Miss Mildred.
We
Local
Remember-
voting.
Remember-
Local voting. We're
Okay.
griping about our president.
Yes.
But the voting system, the way it's set up, is based on local government and surrounding, and it gets bigger and bigger. So who we put in office to represent us on the local level, that climbs up the ladder.
That's right. It matters.
So if we're not voting for, mayor, city councilman, being involved in those kind of discussions, then we can't sit back and watch the news and get upset about what's going on in Washington, D.C., when we don't even know what's going on in Allen County, Fort Wayne, Indiana, South Side, or the Forest Park District, or Fairfield neighborhood, or off the Wells corridors, South Wells. So there's a lot of things that we need to do as people to get more involved and to educate ourselves so we can make better decisions for people like, our president. That's going to
make a difference for tomorrow. Clarence?
And my thing is, along with that, is that we vote sporadically. We vote every 4 years. There's an election.
But when somebody get through pushing you and poking you and trying to make you vote, I'm saying you're right.
But you vote. But here's the problem. The problem is there need to be term limits in Congress. There's no reason Strom Thurmond was 100 when he left office. He served for over 60 years. There's no reason he should have been 100 when he left office. The problem is, and that's where a lot of people blame it on the past administration, because some of those other affiliates are still in office. There's still affiliates of Trump that is trying, so until we get those people out, so there should be term limits in Congress. That has to change.
Because there's no change. Right. Because there's rules in place that were done, like this gentleman was there for over 60 years.
Yeah, Strom Thurmond.
There's things that have to change with the time.
You know what was happening when he got in office?
You know what I'm saying?
You know office?
There was no electronics, that kind of stuff. So things have to change, and you have to go with the times. If we stay with the old rules,
that's right.
You can't judge people on changing
the
times.
old rules and the old people.
Right.
Like literally, it's always.
I agree with that, but I think that we need to know what the old rules were so that we know what change really looks like.
Or what needs to be changed.
Well, and if you haven't made progress in that many years, get up and let somebody sit there that's going to. I mean, there comes a time. There needs to be some kind of a cap where you're done.
Yeah, but they still get paid even after they come down from office. There is still a residual every year. So they don't have to work another day in their lives. It's like retirement.
Yeah, throughout the
I would love to be a politician.
And they only have to serve one full term.
Yes.
Get all of that.
To qualify for
Sign us up.
One full term.
We are your new.
Amazing.
I love to sit in the seat. Oh, let me make some
You
laws.
look the part.
Oh, man, let me make some laws.
No, you couldn't wear that shirt in that seat.
But we're going to talk more
come
tomorrow.
Together. Come on.
Let's go. We can run the world.
You got something else you want to add to this?
No, we're going to do this a little bit more in depth tomorrow.
You got ready to get me when I got ready to get out of here.
He's going to lead us out with the national anthem.
I had to play it off.
Really? Lift every voice. That's the only national anthem.
You hang out with Neutral Voices. And this is Neutral Voices saying good night. And we will see you tomorrow. Don't forget, go to our YouTube and subscribe. Thank you.